feel more... Tell me about you, because you...
Yeah, because I feel like they're completely different skills. Like, when I go out, I can sing, do whatever, not be fazed by it. Like, walking around the stage singing, then the minute I have to speak, like, my brain just kind of just fails on me and kind of just puts 100 different words in my head all at once.
Do you feel that even now?
Yeah, not all the time, but just like if you, like you were saying, like when you look around and stuff and you're trying to take it all in and you're like, so many people here, kind of just adds a bit of pressure.
Do you think it's easier for you, and all of you really, but do you think it's easier to just try and not overthink it? Is it sort of easier? Because I guess if you stop and you think, oh my goodness, 80,000 people are here and they're here for us, I guess it sort of plays with your head a little bit, right?
Yeah, that's what you find.
That's why I personally find it easier to bring the other boys in when we're talking. Like, I'll go over and talk to Niall because I'm talking to Niall then. Yeah, there is 80,000 people there, but at least I can have a conversation with Niall and, you know what I mean, it might be a little less daunting.
I just get too excited. I've kind of become the hype man, where we just all the shouting, trying to get the crowd. So I just try and, like, manage the crowd in a way and get them buzzing.
Do any of you get nervous before a show?
Anyone that tries to tell you that they're not nervous it's a lot, because you do get like butterflies a little bit. But I find myself more so now, the further we've got into the tour, more excited about going on stage, because I find that when you do your own show, you know what kind of crowd we're going out to. Everyone knows like the One Direction crowd is crazy and like that, so you kind of build yourself up for that instead of, what's the point of being nervous? Because as Louis said, the fans will have your back no matter what you do out there.
Some of the passion that they show is like beyond anything. I remember in Brazil we met this group of 12 people who had camped for like 59 days, not even to get tickets because they had tickets from a year before, just to get to the front and be near you. Do you compute that? Do you think about that often, or is it just, are you just very grateful for it, or do you just try? I mean, the dedication to you is amazing.
The dedication is amazing. It's just impossible to understand or comprehend, because to put you in that position yourself, you'd have to be a very arrogant person to understand it, I think, and it's just impossible. I mean, just the other day, when I was down at Doncaster Rovers, 2 people had flown from Sao Paulo to Doncaster. What a great holiday. I mean, they must have had the best time.
You've travelled all over the world now. You've seen everything. What's the most impressive place that you've seen?
Rio was amazing, because it's somewhere like you always want to go out to Brazil and South America. It's amazing. We got to go and see Christ the Redeemer. We went to Peru and did Machu Picchu, which was the most insane thing I think I've ever seen. It was proper crazy, that.
Which are your places, Harry, that you sort of are most keen on that you've seen?
One of my favourite shows ever is still when we played in Verona.
Yeah, mate.
Because we played in like the old Colosseum, and I have this amazing picture of like the stadium, the arena, and then it's like full of the crowd, and then there's all like the little old ruins at the top of the Colosseum.
Yeah, and the crowd outside that as well was amazing. It was like
sick. Any places for you three that you sort of keen on?
I always really enjoy going to Australia.
I was going to say
there's something about it. It's just people are cool down there. It's a beautiful country. The lads can go surfing and that. You know, we play golf down there. It's great. And obviously, from the first time we ever went down to Australia, the second we set foot in the country, the fans have just been ridiculous down there.
I think if it wasn't so far away, everyone would live in Australia.
I've got 10 mates.
I guess it's not that far away if you live in Australia.
But if you're in Australia, you can't go.
No, it's true. What's the negative side of touring? Because obviously we get to see, you know, they're all about to watch you on stage being brilliant and rocking out to San Siro. But there must be bits that you sort of, I guess being away from home is quite tricky.
Yeah, being away from home is a huge one. Like, obviously you miss your family and friends and stuff. But actually, I quite like being busy and being on the road now quite a lot. I like fumble.
Well,
I am. I can't stop these days.
But you must feel like you're like living out of a suitcase sometimes.
Yeah. I hate that more than anything.
I keep my stuff on the bus, so I never bring a rucksack.
You like staying on the bus, don't you?
I live on the bus.
Yeah, I bring like a backpack.
It's
just got underwear and socks in it, and then I just get my clothes given to me.
Do you? You literally just go rucksack. So how long will you be on the road for with just that rucksack?
If it's up to like 2 weeks, I'll just bring a backpack.
Yeah, because you can also use your stage clothes. You know what I mean?
Yeah, drop a few of them.
You can play the game.
So just how many times do you use the same underwear?
I wouldn't be comfortable.
Right. Yeah. Because you use your underwear you recycle.
Look, I'm just like any other bloke. Like, do you know what I mean? I'm out of underwear. You know what I mean? I've worn them today. I'll wear them tomorrow if I have to.
Even if you've done a show in them.
If I've done a show in them, I mean, it depends. It
This is-
depends how.
you just forget about that.
Look, this is
That's not
honesty.
rapping.
This is all this is.
No, it's
eh?
honestly,
It's
this
a
is
bit
what
of-
we're
it's a
doing.
bit of-
We're having an open,
it's,
honest conversation about your underwear. Talk about your underwear.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Maybe Zane's looking out for me there. You know what I mean? I probably
We
never
have
get
to about
married.
his underwear instead.
Probably never get married.
I have a fresh pair every day.
Yeah. Well, look at me. I'm very clean. Mm.
Yeah.
2 pairs of those.
Yeah. Sometimes too clean.
But just pick up on that. Even if you go to hotels, you've always like living on the bus, don't you?
Yeah.
Why is that? Because everyone else, but I mean, I can't imagine. It's quite small bunks, but you just quite like hanging out there.
Yeah, I suppose me and Zane spend a lot of time on the bus, and it's just so as cheesy as this sounds, it's almost like a little escape, that little back lounge that we sit in, because like there's mine and Zane's security, Alberto and Preston, and Don the driver. And
It doesn't change no matter where it is in the world, though.
Yeah,
Like, it's the
exactly.
You get a different garden.
It's not like a different hotel room and like a lonely place,
Yeah,
which a
it's the
hotel
same
room often
scenery
can be.
everywhere.
It's just an easier way for me to deal with it all.
Why? Because you'd get quite lonely if you were sat in a hotel room on
Oh,
your own.
definitely. I can't really do on my own time. I have to have someone's attention.
I can understand that. Because it can be quite frustrating being stuck in a hotel a lot. And we've had a few times this tour where there's literally been like, I remember in Peru there was like 10,000 people. And I got up that morning and went into Louis' room and I said, right, what are we doing today? And he goes, we should go shopping or something, man. Let's see, can we get like a mall somewhere and go shopping? And then we looked out the window and the police, after we found out there was like 10,000 people on the street outside our hotel. So
The bus parks in the stadium.
So the bus parks in the stadium, and we always stay up late, so otherwise you don't really have any time.
Yeah.
So we get up and take a walk inside, like we looked at the San Siro at like 3 a.m, and it's incredible. It really is incredible to see.
You get off stage, you're just full of energy. You don't want to be sitting in a hotel room by yourself after that. You know what I mean? You're just
Be
doing that
drifting and
amazing
go,
gig.
What does it feel like when you come off stage?
Just buzzed up, full of energy. I normally just can't go to sleep, but I just want to stay up. And just,
And do
But
you
it's quite
find that?
relaxing when you finish a show as well, though. You feel like, because you've done the show, it's like a big energy release and whatever, get it all out on stage, and you kind of relax,
Yeah,
but
you
you
can.
are like a relaxed awake sort of thing, I always find. And we don't really have, I don't think any of us have like a proper body clock. Like, we all go to bed at like different times and whatever else.
You need like an hour, 2 hours to kind of, even if it's not do anything, like even if it's just lying around but not sleeping.
Yeah, just do
'cause
what
you
you
have-
want.
Yeah, you have
Yeah.
like a ringing in your ears for a while and stuff, and
What's all this in the middle of the show? You're the only band I've ever seen that goes for a week.
So cheeky, isn't it?
In the middle of a
It is
show, you're
kind
going
of
for a week.
hard,
Yeah, and it's always in my speech, mate. I'm left there, and I've already said all I can say, and then he goes off the stage. I'm looking round.
I think we all think the same thing, because I always think, I'll just nip off for a week. I actually normally tell them, I'm just going for a week. And then I come to the toilet and everyone's already there.
we all know the point in the show where there is a gap long enough to go to the toilet. So, like, I came out the toilet the other day, and literally there was 3 lads standing outside in the queue outside
Yeah.
the toilet.
and what can you do?
Well,
Like,
you can go before the shows.
of course.
No, not true.
It's not
true,
that.
man. No, because you drink so much water
That's what I
during
was just
stage.
gonna say, yeah, you
It's
do.
very dry.
I have one kidney for a long time, boys, so I'm well trained in that area.
You never had.
You never had one kidney, it was a
Never had
myth.
one. Yeah.
It's all the world.
It could have been a myth.
Only when you were a child, somebody said you had one kidney.
It was confirmed that one of my kidneys was scarred, right? But then when I went to the doctors in
We told
Harley
him.
Street when I was 18,
We were told he
somehow
had
I'd
one.
healed it.
The kidney just healed.
Healed.
We were told we didn't have one, it was gone.
No.
You know what
I
I
always
mean?
had one. It was scarred. It just didn't work.
Okay, one out of the 5 of you that actually doesn't necessarily have 2 functioning kidneys can hold it in for a full show, and you 4 can't.
Fucking hell, he's
No,
putting a
no,
gold
no,
plate
no.
on the kidney thing.
I was in hospital
His
for 4 years,
kidneys,
mate.
it's
All
all.
right, we can move on from the win. It must be quite satisfying for you though that on this tour you're performing songs that you've actually had such a big part writing. Does that make it? I mean, let's start with you, H. Does that make it sort of, I guess, a bit more satisfying that it's actually your material that you're singing?
there's definitely like a time when you kind of, if it's a song that you've written and you hear like people singing it back, it's that because there's a feeling of people singing your songs back to you, and then there's a feeling of people singing lyrics where you remember being somewhere writing them, and you remember recording them, and just kind of remember how it all came together, and it kind of flashes through your mind the whole process.
You can almost go through a show and almost forget stupidly. I think for me, there's been a few times where fans have held up "You Make Me Strong" and everyone's held that up. And you'd just be singing the songs and going through the motions. Then it actually takes something as blatant as that to go, oh, hang on a minute, that's I wrote on that song, they're referencing something that I've said. And it's an amazing feeling. It's exactly what you would want as an artist. It's very important for us, I think.
Yeah, I think when I was a kid and my dad had put like Snow Patrols like singing at some festival or something on, or like
What else would Jeff have?
Coldplay as well. So like when you see them, you see them on TV and you see everyone singing, the words to Yellow back or whatever. I was sat there thinking, like, I wonder what that feels like. Do you know what I mean? Like, to have someone singing something that you wrote back to you, and there's that many people singing it, like, it is, like, you say, you kind of forget sometimes a bit stupidly, and then you're like, oh, I wrote this song, whatever. It's buzzing.
Makes it much more satisfying, I guess.
Yeah.
It's just so much more personal. Your performance becomes so much more personal because you've had that kind of involvement with it. And yeah, I think those songs that you have written definitely are more fun to express. Yeah.
There's been so many amazing moments for you boys, from sort of movie premieres to the Olympics to all these different things. What would you say, one by one, what's been, I guess, your proudest thing that you've achieved so far? Proudest either moment or thing you've achieved? Let's start with you, Zaina.
There is a lot of different things, that I would consider as being massive achievements, but I think for me personally, like, I really, really enjoyed the VMAs when we did that. Just thought it was like,
because you've done 2 VMAs, haven't you?
We won 3, didn't we?
Yeah, but we've been twice.
We've been twice. Yeah, the first time we went when we won 3, it was amazing.
It was the first proper award show I think we've been
it just
to.
felt crazy, the whole experience of just being there, like you've seen it on TV. All the stars that were sat right next to us had been on, been in the industry for so many more years than us, and we, like Louis said, just felt like new kids, just sat there like...
Rihanna was sat in front of us.
Yeah, like we had no friends.
Crazy.
Like, it was
Didn't
really
know anybody.
weird.
You wanted just basically to get your autograph book out, but actually you're winning 3
Exactly,
movements.
It's really funny that the year after we went, remember the last one in Brooklyn? Where we were literally sitting around, and everyone was around us, from Lil Wayne to Rihanna was sitting in the seat in front of us.
Big Wayne,
Lil Wayne, Big Wayne, Middle Size Wayne,
Justin Timberlake, all of those guys were all there sitting beside us, and we were literally sitting there with like soft drinks and foot-long hot dogs each. And Louis turned to me during Justin Timberlake's performance. I'm sitting there with a hot dog and he goes, "We are literally the worst celebrities that have ever walked the planet." It's just everyone's sitting around there like with their sunglasses on, all looking all shady.
It's very serious, don't they? Everyone likes to, sip champagne and look very, very nice and beautiful. And they're just scoffing hot dogs and drinking Coca-Cola,
I think the Brits are always great. The Brits are amazing. I have in my house. I've got all the awards that we won on each side of my TV. And you just look at them sometimes, and you just seem to see, the ones that we won. And the Brits it's just an amazing night every time we go, and we always have a good time. We feel more comfortable there as well, don't we? Because you know more people when you go to them. And the Brits are. It's always been great, because that was actually the first award we won.
Very true.
A Brit Award. It was the first award that we won, and having gone back there the last couple of years, it's been amazing. So I'd say the Brits are the biggest thing that we did.
Harry?
I always find stuff that like my parents like freak out about, like makes me feel the most proud.
But when they get, what do you mean by that?
So like, for example, like when we met the Queen, like there's loads of stuff like VMAs and stuff that like my grandma doesn't like understand at all. But like meeting the Queen, she like freaked out about it.
Our families always seem to turn up, because like they don't go to the same thing all together all the time. So when they turn up in numbers at a certain thing, it's big.
They turn up.
So like the first time since the X Factor, the first time you could tell something big was happening when they all arrived up was Madison Square Garden, and it's the most famous venue in the world. And then like, for instance, like when our families like come to Dublin, for instance, like
they love Dublin.
Everyone likes going to the Dublin shows for some reason, or like the other night, some of our parents were in Milan. So all these like big moments when the family turn up, it's going to be a big night. And I think that goes back to what Harry's saying, like the best things that you do are the ones that your family, want to get to and are proud of.
Listen, I'm going to finish on 4 questions from some of the fans that they've sent into you. We want some quick one-word answers. So, Kizzy Wiz says, what's the one thing you must have with you on tour? Liam, one thing.
Phone.
Harry?
Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
Phone.
Phone, it's boring that, isn't it? Phone.
Yeah, fine.
Boring.
Fine, 4 phones and Wi-Fi. OKS Payno says, what surprises you most during concerts? I guess that means what of the surprises that they've done has been the most spectacular?
I think the one that they did the other day in the show in...
San
Siro, which is what we're about to see.
They managed to say, I love One Direction in it as well. There was a few other things going on.
Amber Coffee, A-M-B-R-E Coffee, says, what do you like to do before a concert? One thing that you have to do before a concert.
For some reason, I always brush my teeth before a show. I don't know why.
Very clean, very
I put
hygienic.
on aftershave, even though no one can smell it. But
Great stat. Zaina, Sylvia 1D, wants to say, what's your favourite song to perform of all the things on the tour?
Alive, I'd say.
Alive.
I love Alive.
I love Alive. It's the best song on the tour. I just think it's brilliant. Last one, Dyer MXNZ Zane. What's the most embarrassing thing that's ever happened to you on stage?
I fell over in Ireland on our first show on the Europe tour. Not a good look to start, mate, but
Decent form.
I was debating, do I just lie down and pretend that I've knocked myself out? Because it's cool. If you've knocked yourself out falling over, it's a bit cool because it hurt you, whereas I had to get up and carry on, mate. I was
about
annoyed.
3 seconds away from catching you, but you was too late.
so angry. And
You could have saved the day, but what you're saying, Zaid, is you just didn't.
Boys, I've very much enjoyed listening to your thoughts. Thanks very much. Everyone's now about to watch the gig that you did at San Siro.
And it's been great. This has been.
Enjoy it.
I've really got a long career in this.
Ben's David.
My debut.
He's going to be. Watch this space.
Thanks. But we're about to see now the San Siro show, which was probably one of your best shows on the tour.
Definitely.
You loved doing it.
Definitely.
Yeah.
The whole scale of it being one of the homes of football as football fans is quite a big deal, and to be even in the place be even in the building was just ridiculous. So you're in for a treat.
Enjoy.
Enjoy it.